Hello YouTube, Reddit Math here, and welcome back to the Red Estate. As you can probably already see, I've got quite a few characters hanging out in the sanitarium this week. As I went to sort of staff a level 6 party, it became very obvious that disease and rot had sort of overtaken a lot of our characters there. And so I want to give these guys like at least a week to sort of recoup. There are still characters that I'd like to remove some diseases from, but there's only so many slots in the day. So in the meantime, while they're doing that, I think we're going to end up pulling out a lower level crew, and they're not any less sickly and diseased, but they're less valuable to lose, and I don't have to throw them up against a boss to do it. I still need to get Mallebisse leveled up to the same level as the Panzervolt, Lovett, and Mansell crew so that they could start adventuring together and testing out their marked target skills all together. So what I'm thinking here is maybe like we don't have a level 6 Crusader, so camp could certainly come along. And then he wants 3rd rank, right? Yeah, with Cry Havoc. Okay. And then like maybe Neville and I could go that. From the 4th rank, she's fine, right? Yeah. I could pull one of these. They're maybe a little light on damage overall. But I do have Hound's Rush and Target Whistle combined with a bunch of Smiting. Okay. Also, the reward for this is actually pretty decent. The Warrior's Bracer for a common trinket I think is fantastic. 15% damage with just the dodge penalty. I would take that every day. So I think this is going to do it. We shouldn't have too much trouble. We've got a little bit of healing. We don't need to camp, so like 1 stack of food should be fine. Bring like 8 torches, 2 shovels. Oh, I feel like it's been so long since I've been to the Warrens. Let's think about this for a second here. What is in the Warrens? If you'll excuse me, I'm going to be as unprofessional as humanly possible while I pull a file up on my other screen. Alright, so the Warrens are holy water, medicinal herbs, bandages, holy water, medicinal herbs, torch. I heard a lot of medicinal herbs. So like 2 bandages, 3 medicinal herbs, 2 holy waters, and like 1 key, 1 antivenom. Does that seem fair? I think the enemies in there don't actually... we'll run into cultists pretty much everywhere. So bandages are kind of always useful. And then there is like a pool of just curios that you could find anywhere, namely the chests and such. So something like that. A relatively light provisioned party. It is just a short level 1 mission though, and I think all of the characters are level 2. I don't think anybody's level 1. So this, I'm expecting to be a bit of a walk in the Warrens Park, whatever. We'll mix some metaphors there.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
Alright, and with this layout, we could skip this room by just going down, over, back up, and there, and then that would complete it. So, barring any sort of scouting telling us otherwise, I think that's going to be our plan. Hello, Mr. Cutthroats. Let's see here. That would do 5 to 8. Let's go for it. In the amount of time I think I could do any sort of supplementary skill and then that, I might as well just hit him with that and do it twice if I need to. Alright, some good upfront blight. Blanket fire, of course. Let's see here. He's going to take 4. That would likely be some serious overkill for him. But up to 8 could get the kill. I needed to do at least 7, though. Let's go ahead and go with this. I'm spreading damage in probably a way I shouldn't be, but as long as I can dodge, it's fine. Of course, I'm not always going to be able to dodge, but, you know, that's okay, too. She could... You know, why not? Everybody's a little bit damaged, just barely. That's going to top a lot of characters off. Of course, she probably could have just killed that guy and prevented that incoming damage. You live, you learn. There we go.
Give them no quarter.
Why couldn't you have done that the first time? And then there would have been no second need. Ugh. Man, oh man. Alright. He's dead. Might as well kill him too. And then... I'm going to take 2 more damage from that, so I'm not too concerned about it. What I actually might be a little bit concerned about is the amount of stress he has. Try to leave this dungeon with less stress than we brought in. That might be very worthwhile. I'll just move her. These 2 guys are going to bleed out on their own. Self-heal. Why not? We're going to stall for a little bit of time. Throw any and all healing out we can.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
Yep. Life taken. Got it.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
There have been a couple of threads lately, and finally sort of results. Oh no, the spirits command me. Okay, we got loot out of it. That's something. Both on Reddit and the Darkest Dungeon official forums, a lot of discussion of class tiers has been going on. The unequivocal winner...
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Was actually the Crusader. That it seems he is in the place that most people agree is the most well-balanced out of all of the classes. That was sort of interesting to see. These guys are relatively soft. Only 4. That's too bad. Yeah, like he like unequivocally was sort of in his own tier 1 category. This was largely based on like a composition of holy debuff, the dodge buff. Might as well just hit him in the face with a mace. Just sort of based on
them all.
Compiling the opinions of like all of the peoples that responded anyway, and arranging sort of a data scatter in which the Crusader just sort of came out ahead. Nobody really felt like the Crusader was bad at all or needed a buff at all, that he was in a good place, he was relatively versatile, etc., etc. Dobrith gonna die. I might as well just sort of work on self-healing styles. Like that. I know it's only 1, but hey, 1 is better than none. And, yeah, he was, like, if I remember correctly, the only character like that.
Death by inches.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
The next tier, like sort of a tier 2 kind of era. Let me actually grab that. Awesome. Good scout. Hopefully a trap that we might be able to avoid. 60. Yeah, Hound Master's going to be the best bet. Okay. The sort of tier 2 of it was a bit wider spread. I don't remember every class that ended up like everywhere. We might as well feed some of these guys. We did bring food after all. One of the things that I did make note of, and awesome, another scout. I just sort of decided on keeping my mouth shut, but the characters that are thought to be in like the lowest tier of usefulness are sort of like the wine women in Song Party. Ah, the worries. That's no good. That's no good at all. Yeah. We can try for... He will actually die in his own, but we can combine that with a zealous accusation to get it done a little bit early. You know what? And that will then kill him. Awesome. I believe the Jester was on the bottom of rankings. The Highwayman was as well, and the Grave Robber was slightly above them. The Vestal was somewhere in like a mid-tier, like good. Some complaints about her usefulness late game that are in the like champion dungeons. You're healing.
Death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Your healing can't really keep up with the incoming damage anymore, and so a dedicated healer becomes a lot less useful. This is the Rack O Blades. Let's see here. Knife rack, bandage, loot, check. Bandage. I'm assuming knife rack, and yeah, that's gotta be the thing. Sometimes the game files like don't refer to objects quite the same as what you see them in the game as, if that made any sense at all. So like in the files, they'll have slightly like more succinct names and things like that. A lot of the enemies are that way specifically, but curios as well. So I have them down as the way they appeared in the game files, because that's how I was writing it. Alright. Yep. Another rubble pile. We are now out of shovels, which is only a little bit concerning. Let's see here. Ugh.
Watch your step.
Thanks. Actually, like, I don't think I've ever heard that audio cue before. Just a straight, watch your step. Like, alright, we're gonna skip books. Nothing good ever comes out of reading. Remember that, kids. And
the match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Alright, fight here. Now, there we go. Finally found the post as I've been trying to look for it in another window, and ugh, not quite. Alright, that combined with a zealous accusation will get the kill though. Nice. And also nice. Alright, that dude is... Oh, it didn't blight him. Not as nice as I thought. Okay. I thought I was going to get the kill on that guy before he was able to act. So yeah, finally found the post from the new community manager of Red Hook, actually, which is also awesome that there is a community manager now.
The ground quakes.
It was, the top tier was Crusader, Hellion, Man-at-Arms, Houndmaster, and Vestal. So I guess maybe the Vestal was up there, just not quite as received the most top tier ratings, which was where the Crusader was. And then below that, Occultist, Bounty Hunter, and Arbalist. Below that was Grave Robber, Highwayman, Plague Doctor, and at the bottom was Leper and Jester. I can kind of get on board with the Leper.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
I wish the Leper had something he could do from the back. Him being shuffled is so bad. Like,
remind yourself
so bad.
that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
You know, there are literally 2 spots in your entire party that he could be in. We'll use a key on this. Although we don't really need that many heirlooms anymore. I guess that's something. We actually don't need these at all. I'd rather just toss them than bring them back with me. And this is fine. Just play with the bones. Don't let me use anything on it. The fact that he can only be used in like those first 2 ranks of your party sort of limits his usefulness.
Mechanical hazards possessed by evil intent.
And empty room. No, we're going to continue adventuring. I'm not done talking. And we'll go ahead and circle back through this area that's unexplored in the center. Yeah, it limits his usefulness because of the 2 locations he can be in. Like, he has to be at the front of your party. So there's not a lot of variety there. He doesn't fit with a lot of party compositions. And then he only can really hit the front of the enemy, which I don't have a huge problem with that, honestly. It's mostly...
Curious is the trap maker's art.
Man, your stress
His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
Stress is getting up there. We do not have any bandages. I haven't had any medicinal herbs down here. Like, why did I bring these again?
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Well, this little side trek is going super well. That was sarcasm.
Light, the promise of safety.
Alright, another fight to get into. Ugh. And we came out surprised. So, you know what? Any of these guys have... He's actually got quite a bit of protection. Let's just swap them. He can do most things he needs to do from the 2nd rank. Ugh. The reason that I don't particularly get on board with the leper is I have nothing to do with him when in the 3rd and 4th rank, and if he gets party shuffled, surprised, moved, etc., etc., I'm going to end up with 2 turns of trying to get him moved forward, and I can't absorb that. Like, it's just so meh. You could very easily find yourself in a position where the leper like gets moved to the back of the party by like an attack, for example, for a fair amount of the move and stun you type things that can happen to a character. And when those happen, I never used my dog biscuit. I should have totally just done that. When those happen and then get combined with like what's this guy? A stun, for example, he could get moved to the back, be stunned, spend the next 2 turns moving forward, and then miss once he gets to the front of the, or once he gets to the 2nd rank. And you spend 4 turns with a leper that was completely useless in the entire fight.
For the slightest lapse in concentration.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine, actually. With one of these. Awesome. 5 takes me out of 6. We need to do 2 more. And feel the wrath of my hound. Let's think. 4, he's dead. We'll kill him. Awesome. What I would kind of like to see to maybe keep the leper sort of unique is something like the man-at-arms skill that moves him forward and stuns. I really kind of wish that was just on the leper, but barring that, then we're just sort of passing out heals here in case that wasn't obvious. Barring that, I would just like to see him with something that can move him forward. If it's not going to be like an enemy attack and stun, maybe a self-buff, similar to the way Shadow Fade works with the Grave Robber to move her back and give her a dodge buff.
Like a trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Maybe like a running charge or something that was just purely would move the leper forward 1 or move the leper forward 2 if you want to be super nice to everybody. And yeah, like moving forward 2 ranks and increases accuracy. Okay, so... Oh, right, that's a fight that I've scouted. I was, for some bizarre reason, thinking that this was a trap that was coming up. I probably should have reshuffled everything, but I don't think these guys are going to pose much of a threat. Yeah, I think that would be really cool, like an accuracy increase as well as a forward move skill. Like, that would make me excited to use the leper. As it is, you know, I mean, he's extremely hard hitting. I'm fine with his accuracy, honestly. A trinket can take care of that.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
He has a camping skill, for example, that can help out with that as well. So I'm pretty okay with the way that works. Yeah, better than a trap. All right, and that's going to take care of this dungeon. So we'll actually get out of here.
The twisting tunnels seem a little less impossible.
The other thing to kind of talk about on that was all those other characters. Like the grave robber and the highwayman are both way down there. The jester was the lowest rated class out of anybody. And Mallebisse doesn't quite make it to level 3. That's a bit disappointing. Okay. Which is pretty interesting to me.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
As I'm sure you are aware, but I enjoy using those classes, and I don't find them to be particularly weak. I think you just need to sort of play to their strengths. But I guess from a versatility standpoint, maybe you can argue they don't slot into very many party compositions very well. I don't know how I feel about that. I think the Jester's buff actually is fairly helpful everywhere you put him. But, yeah, you know, clearly I'm disagreed with. So we did take care of several quirks, a couple of... I don't think either of these guys had multiple. I think he was the only one with 2 diseases, so that actually is fine. Port has achieved a constant calm, which is not a good thing at all after meditating. You know, anybody that tries to tell me that the Abbey is better because you can't gamble away trinkets, I'm not convinced. I would rather not have calm or have lost 1,000 gold becoming super generous after praying. But maybe that's just me. Alright guys, we're probably going to have to do some de-stressing of that low-level party, but our level 6s are all back and ready to go back into the grinder. So likely next time is going to be another boss battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to subscribe for more episodes on the channel every single day. Leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other episodes, and I will catch you guys next time.